Hi, everyone, and welcome to this tutorial of how we created Faces of Our School social media posts to post on our school's accounts, Instagram and Facebook, during the months of August and September. So whether you are a school principal, assistant principal, dean of students, teacher leader, or a school secretary, I hope that this tutorial will be very helpful for you. So first disclosure is that I am not the original creator of this idea. I want to give a shout out to Nova Academy, who somebody posted this on a Facebook group, Principals group, and there were questions about how to create it. And so I want to walk everybody through how I used Canva to create these for our school. I hope that this is helpful, but just know that this was not an original idea. I'm building on the great idea of another amazing school. So really, this is a two-part tutorial. First, I'm going to go through the setup and the nuts and bolts of how I gathered everything I needed and built the framework for this project. And then the second part, I'll walk you through step by step, if you're new to Canva, how to actually build it. So I'll walk you through with those tools so you can kind of follow along. So I know that you are all super busy, so a couple quick things, just housekeeping. Know that in YouTube, you can increase the playback speed as you're watching this video. So please do that. Put me at 1.25% or 1.5% speed so that you can quickly blow through this. And then second, just a personal shout out, a plug for myself, that I've created several educator productivity tools. I know principals are super busy and I'm passionate about saving you time. And so head on over to my website, opendoorprincipal.com /shop. And there you will find not only a coupon code for 10% off of any of my products, but also ready to use products for your social media pages. So that includes stock photos ready to go, quotations. I've got an entire principal's social media toolkit that's ready to go, as well as monthly school culture packs. So head on over there, use the 10% off code, and enjoy. So let's hop into the actual social media posts and how I got to this. First thing I did is I created in Google Forms, I created a Meet Your Team questionnaire that I sent out to all staff. And frankly, I created two of them. I created one for my classified staff and one for my certified staff. You don't have to do that, but with a certified questionnaire, I included what's your alma mater, where'd you get your teaching license, things like that. And some of our classified staff are absolutely college educated and others aren't. And so I just tailored it to different questionnaires and sent them out. And in there, what I did is ask questions like, what sets our middle school apart from other schools? What's your dream vacation? Just things that I think my student age group would be really curious to know about their teachers. In middle school, and as you can see from my example, I put, I tried every elective. I got out there. And so you'll be amazed at what your teachers come back with. And so that questionnaire is really what guided the bulk of what you're going to see in this sample. So it has, and I put my school's actual name here, Faces of Our School, my name, my role, and then my responses to all of those questions. Then I have each person answer the prompt of, I became an educator because. This is my actual picture. So I put that there, my school logos from where I got my degrees, when I joined the group, and then a quotation about why I work here, as well as our logo. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to show you how to create all these. So one thing that's really important to know is that I love Canva and purchase it for my school every single year. Now, this may be against the rules. I'm not sure, but I share it with my couple of secretaries. We want our social media game to be on top. And so we use the Canva PRO account. Now, there's a link down in the YouTube notes, as well as on my website where I've linked this tutorial, where you can get Canva Pro for 30 days for free. Please use that. Go and get that link. Take advantage of it. And really, you don't want to start paying for it until you've kind of, gotten a little bit more familiar with it. So grab those 30 days for free. Canva does have a free option, which is pretty great, but I highly recommend the Pro. For how much we use it, man, we get our money's worth out of that. So what you're going to see here are maybe some features that are only available in Canva Pro, because that's what I have open here. So because I wanted these posts to be able to fit on Instagram and Facebook, I'm using an Instagram size template. So let's go ahead. I'm in Canva now. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on the right-hand side. You may want to slow this down if you're new to Canva, if you're listening to me faster. Click on Create a Design. And then you can choose Instagram posts, but you can also see here that the dimensions are 1080 by 1080 pixels. So you can also choose custom size and just enter that in. But Canva is very gracious and has already given us those dimensions. So I'm going to just click on Instagram post. All right. And what I'm going to do is call this Faces of Our School template. Because the thing is you're going to create one and then have your secretaries or your team support you in using that template to put in other educators' information, right? So you're going to use this to copy and then just plug in each person's stuff. So let's say your school colors are blue and gold. What we're going to do is we're going to set the framework first for that color template. Come on over here to the left, and just to give a little bit of a tutorial of the layout of Canva. Your tools are all located on your left-hand side. Really, elements is the bulk of it, as well as text. And then in here are templates. So let's say you're using this for, you want to have a bingo night at your school. There's already ready to go templates that you can use. So that's another reason why I just adore Canva. And then if you want a larger workspace, you can certainly hide that over here. With this little arrow. So what we're going to do is we're going to build our color scheme because my school colors are blue and gold. I want it to reflect that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to look for a square. And this is really a go-to shape that I use a lot is a square because you can alter the dimensions tremendously. And what's great about Canva is you can just drag these around. So what I'm going to do is drag this square over to this side because I want to really get my school colors to pop. So I'm just going to put a little rectangle there, but of course my school colors are blue. And so what I did here, let me back that one up. So I'm on my square up here and is this little color palette. You can choose literally any color, but Canva has some ready to go colors for you down here. And this is my school color here. So I just made that blue, but you can make it whatever your school color might be. Super easy to use. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. And frankly, I want that guy to not move around. So I'm going to click on that. And then in the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to lock that in place because I don't need that moving around as I'm adding words. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to add my name. This is actually called, Faces of. I'll just create a school here. So what I did is I added text by clicking any of these sizes. And really, there's nothing different about these guys. It's just the size that you're going to start with, but you can certainly alter anything by changing your size here. Let's make that a 30 just to make it easier to see. Canva is lovely in that it's so easy to resize things. I just dragged on that little bar. So we're going to call this Faces of Middleton Elementary School. Whatever your school is, you can just put it there. And so I want to make that a little bit smaller so that it fits on here just for this example. The great news too is that you can change your justification. So I'm going to put that left justified and put that here, Faces of Middleton Elementary School. Next, I want to put my educator's name. So here's going to come Mrs. Graham. So I just typed Mrs. Graham, and what I'm going to do is move that up here. And you can get all kinds of creative here with fonts, which we'll do in just a second. But for right now, I'm just showing you how to add the text. And then finally, I want another smaller text here. I want to list what Mrs. Graham teaches. So I'm going to say advanced, actually, we'll just say art teacher. And then drag that up here so that we've got it all in place. Now, based on the example, you can see that it's gotten a little bit more creative and a little bit bigger. So I want to change the font. So I'm going to double click on here or highlight all of this and change my font. I've got some font favorites, and you can actually check out on opendoorprinciple.com under productivity, my Canva font cheat sheet. Definitely download that and save yourself some hassle of trying to find some awesome fonts. I like Montserrat. It's a great one. So I'm going to use that and make it a little bit bigger so that we're maximizing that space. I'm going to use the same font on the underside, which is the subjects that Mrs. Graham teaches, and then align that to where I want it. And then I want to use a little bit more of a scripty font for this. And so I'm going to use Bakery Bold. I think it's something that people who can't read cursive can also read because it's scripty, but not cursive, if you will. And then since my school colors are blue and gold, I'm going to add the gold here to this to really make that pop. Now that's not exactly my school color, so I'm going to come up here, and then Canva brings me to the yellow, and I'm going to drag down to the one that I think is a better fit. And I want this just a little bit bigger. I'm a little bit picky when it comes to Canva. And so, like I said, once you do the first one, the rest will sort of fly. All right. So that is how you put the staff members' names in your school and what they teach. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to add a place to drag and drop their photos. And by the way, when I have them do the survey, I also have them email me a photo of themselves. I can certainly use the ones from the yearbook, but I want them to have one that they're super proud of. So I let them pick that. But what I think we need, rather than just dropping a photo here, is a little bit of a frame. So come over to Elements on the left and look up Polaroid. And what you're going to, I typed that wrong. I spelled that wrong. Polaroid. And what you're going to find are some Polaroid frames that you can use. You can click on graphics here. Like, let's say you want an actual photo of a Polaroid, you could click on that, or you can click on graphics. Either one's going to give you some really great options. I like this guy, so I'm going to click on this. Again, that's in the Pro version, so you may not find that. You maybe want the little piece of masking tape, which is cute and schooly, so it's totally up to you. I'm going to resize this, though, by dragging the corner. And then what I want to do is I want to drag this guy over here because I want it there. Now, perhaps you want to actually make this be a school color. Some of these are colorable. This one, it looks like, is just pure white because it's a photo. So I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use a graphic because I want to change the color of it. You can see that when I brought this one over, yeah, that's Pro as well, but I get this little color box so I can change its color. So I'm going to use this one instead. You're watching me make the sausage here, so bear with me if you're not a fan of the learning as we go. But these are the things that you're going to bump up against, so I hope it's helpful. So I want to make this gold as well because I want to really enhance that color and make this be school themed. What's great about Canva is it remembered that I used this color before, so all I have to do is click on that and it's back. I'm going to tilt this a little bit just for a little bit of artistic effect. And then whoever this model is, bear with me. I'm going to grab as a female voice here, I'll say female portrait. I'm going to grab a stock photo here of a female person who is Mrs. Graham. Click on photos to get actual photos of people. And again, you're going to use your teacher's actual portraits here. But thank you, Mrs. Graham. And stock model for being Mrs. Graham. I'm going to crop that to make it square so that it's going to fit really nicely in my Polaroid. And when you have an actual photo that you're going to use, I'll show you that in a second, but let me get Mrs. Graham in place here. Lovely. There we go. I'm just sort of dragging and adjusting. And if you need to make more finer tune adjustments, you can increase the size of your image. I did that down on the bottom right-hand side. Canva gives you more precise adjustments if you zoom in a little bit down here, but I kind of prefer to work in this zone. So when you have your actual teacher's photos, what you are going to do is come over here and click on Upload. Super easy. You can grab them right off of your computer. All right. So let's first of all talk about Mrs. Graham's story. So what we're going to do is we're going to list where she got her teaching certificate. And so let's say Mrs. Graham went to Arizona State University. Okay. Probably illegal. I know I'm just grabbing photos here, but bear with me. If you want to ask all your teachers to send you their own screenshots of your school's logos, you go for it. But what we're going to do is we're going to just grab this here. I'm going to copy this image. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop that in here. And we're going to shout out that Mrs. Graham went to Arizona State University. Sorry, Canva's wanting me to paste it a special way. And so here is the logo of where she went to school. And again, I've asked her this in her survey. So what I'm going to do is just drop that here. And then I'm going to add some text that says teaching certificate. Now, let's say your teacher also has a BFA or an MFA that they want to celebrate. Great. Grab whichever school logos they went to and let's shout that out. But for this purpose, I'm just kind of showing you how I built it. Then what I do is I also list when Mrs. Graham joined our staff. That's on my survey as well. And so I'm going to say part of the Lion Pack since 2012, because that's when Mrs. Graham joined our staff. So what I'm going to do is drag that over here. It's really hard to see with the black on the dark blue, so I'm going to change that color up here to a white and just use that. You can get really creative with your fonts, make them bigger, make them smaller. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to change the 2012, I want it to be the same font. And so what you can also do, rather than clicking over here, is you can also click up in this 3-dot box here and then duplicate it by, see, there's this little like duplicate with a plus sign. You can do that as well. And so let's say I want to use that font and that color. I can say since 2012 to make that really pretty and pop and a little bit more balanced with our colors. Part of the pack since 2012. So that is that. And then what I also included in my survey was the prompt, I work here because. And so what you can do is come over to Canva and look up a quotation element. So quotation, and just hit enter. And what you can do is a couple different things. You can just, let's say you just want to do this little symbol and then put a quotation there and then enter the text. You can. If you want to put some brackets around it, you can. Again, totally customizable colors. Let's do this one and make it white because I want it to be easier to see on this dark blue background. Drag this guy over here. And then what I would do is I would fill in whatever my prompt was. I work here because elementary school is the greatest age group ever, or our community is the best. So you can fill in whatever that is. Next, what I did, there's 2 more sections. One is sort of those fill in the blanks. My favorite vacation would be, I cheer for this team. And then I have another section down here that says, I became an educator because, and this is a great place for people's whys. Why did they get into education in the first place? And whether you're dealing with classified or certified responses, you can still ask that question. Why do I love working with kids of this age? The final thing I have over here is my school logo. So I'm going to walk you through these last 3 pieces. The little things about me, my why, and then my logo. Let's start with logo because that one's easiest. Again, you're just going to upload your school logo. For my intents and purposes, I'm going to just pick a mascot off of Canva. I'm going to pick a graphic. Actually, we'll do a photo here because we're the lion pack. We'll use these lions. Check that out. That's not my actual mascot, but it works for this. And then we're going to drag this down here. And then I'm going to add a couple of, you can leave it at this. You can say Lions Elementary School, whatever you want to do. Totally up to you by adding another text box. Your logo may already contain all the information you want. So that's how I would drop that in there. And then next, what I want to do is add a frame around which I can put my like little things about the teachers inside. So under elements, again, I'm going to type frame. Another option, I'm not a fan of that. Let me do this. Let me do rectangle for the one that I really like. Yeah, this one works. So this rectangle here allows you to completely customize the shape and size. Oh, thank you, Canva, for giving me the color I wanted anyway. That's great. And then I'm going to drag it over. Now, this one's a little bit thick. So what you can do, here's a little hint in Canva, is you can make it super small, right? And then it just kind of thinned it out, but then you can widen it again. So that is really, really fun. So it's not such a thick border. And then here, you guessed it, all I did was add my text. So if I were getting a secretary set up on this, or one of my teacher leaders, or if I was doing it myself, what I would do is I would just put in the prompts, right? Like the sentence stem starters, and then save this so that somebody doesn't have to come through and delete it every time. One of the frustrating things I think when you're in Canva is that things will move around. So let's say I go to add a text box now. What's going to happen is that this frame is going to move around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this guy in place by clicking this like little padlock. Boom. Now, when I go and add font and stuff, that thing's going to stay in place, which is awesome. To unlock it, you just click on it and then undo the padlock. And in fact, I'm going to lock everything right now because it's looking really good. I want to lock it in place and I don't want anything to move. So again, hit my triple dots and lock it all up. Cool. So next, what I'm going to do, there we go. Next, what I'm going to do is add some text. So I'm going to start with this kind of medium-sized text. I think that'll get me where I need to go. And I'm going to do this. So start typing in my dream vacation. And then what I'm going to do is just continue to go. I'm going to left justify because that's where I'm going anyway. So my dream vacation. I cheer for my favorite restaurant. And I know some of these people might be like, what are we doing these for? But it's really about your age group and what students might relate to with you. And so that's how I landed on some of the ones that I did. Again, I want to left justify that. And then what you're going to do is just fill in your prompts, fill in teachers' responses. You can cut and paste straight from your Google form their responses. You may want to pare some down if it starts to get too long. But let me show you the next piece that you are going to definitely bump into. People are going to be maybe a little bit wordier than will fit on here, and that's totally fine. You can adjust your font size super easily. A couple ways. One is by dragging and pulling on this. You can see how the font is increasing. The other thing that you can do is, I want to highlight all of this. Let's say I need maybe somebody wasn't very wordy and I need this to fill up the whole space. I'm going to add more spacing between each line. And you can do that by highlighting this section and then hitting this spacing button up here with the arrow and the lines. You can do a couple things. You can space out the letters to make it, a little bit further apart. You can also space out your paragraphs. So Canva, like I said, is super user friendly when it comes to spacing things out. So that's how I would fill that in. I'd come back to my Google form, grab their responses, and just drag and drop them, cut and paste them. The last thing I want to show you is how I created this My Why box. And so as you can maybe guess, those of you who are familiar with Canva or you're following along here, I'm going to just add another one of these sweet squares. So I'm going to come back to Elements. And let's say I close out my last search. The great thing is that Canva has your recently used across the top. Yep, you guessed it. I'm going to use the same square right here because it's completely customizable. I certainly don't need it so big. So I'm going to drag it down a little bit. You can see Canva gave me a funky color, but I can completely change that around. And so I'm going to make this the size that I want it. I'm going to drag this out to here. This is the My Why box. And then I want this to be my school blue again. I got a lot of gold going on, which is great. I'm going to pick my school blue. And then I'm going to use a white font on top of this. Again, you may want to lock it in place so that it doesn't go sliding around on you when you add a text box. But let's go ahead and add a text box by clicking text. I'll start with a smaller font. And it's black right now, which I don't need. I need it to be white so I can see what's going on. You can even emphasize words by using your gold or your other school color, which is pretty fun. So I became an educator because... And that's all I did, friends, is I just would fill in what they would say and just take a little bit of time to make this look aesthetically pleasing and balanced. Now, how long do these each take me? I would say that once I have people's answers, I can get one of these done in under 10 minutes. But maybe it's because I'm pretty familiar with Canva. Perhaps you and your team are as well. But I would say 10 minutes a piece, and depending on the size of your staff, it can go pretty fast. we got them all done in less than, in like half a day. Just got them all done, a team of us, and cranked them out. And then what we would do is just post them one at a time, space them out on both Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is a big fan of the Instagram size, that 1080 by 1080. And so that is it. I really hope that you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please subscribe to the YouTube channel for Open Door Principal. I post lots of great projects that will save you time and help build your school culture. And don't forget to head over to opendoorprincipal.com/shop. Grab 10% off on anything in the store to save you some time, and grab that 30 free days of Canva. It will save you so much time. Take care. Have an awesome school year.